We're back with another lift today, and I know today going to be a lift that's going to be special because I know I'm going to be lifting some heavy weight. I know I've got stronger. I recovered on Sunday, so yes, Sunday was my recovery day, so I know I'm going to give it. I know I'm going to have a lot of strength during this lift because I ate a lot of food before I went here, so we're going to take this pre. Use code Antoine if you want to buy the pre. Honestly, that's enough being said. Let's get started. So we indeed progressed like we said we would. We ended up being able to hit, I think this was 205. Yeah, we was in up, I think this was 205 on weighted dips for reps. So last week we was only able to hit this weight for 2 reps. This session we hit this weight for 3. So that went honestly amazing, if I'm being honest. So, that went amazing. This whole entire workout in general, I wouldn't say this is one of my most best, but I would say this is one of my most decent workouts that I've had. And the reason why is something really pissed me off when I was doing the bench press. Because when y'all saw when I did the bench press, I did 1 rep with that weight right there, right? And the bar hit the rack, so that's what caused me to having to re-rack the weight. And I had to go for, some more reps, right? So I feel like I could have gone for 5 reps with that weight if, the bar ain't hit the rack. But it's honestly whatever, though. I'm not always going to have a perfect set. Every single time I lift, just something about it just annoys me. Every single time I fail a PR, every single time I have an exercise that just don't go as planned, it just ruins the entire day that I have. It just ruins the entire exercise. It's just so frustrating. I genuinely cannot, fail when it comes to any type of exercise. Because if I fail a PR, it's just something inside me that's just going to keep making me want to go back and forth until I hit it, right? And that's how most of the PRs be. I would fail a PR and I would go for it 2 more times after resting for a couple minutes to hit it. And every single time I fail, it just ruins the whole workout. And that's one thing that I want to talk about, failing. When it comes to failing, when it comes to these exercises, when it comes to, PRs, failing, a goal rep range that you want to be in. Let's say if you want to hit 4 reps with exercise and you end up getting 2 or 3 reps, stuff like that is what really frustrates me. But if you learn from those mistakes, learn what you did wrong, learn that, you're not always going to be at 100% every single lift, right? So those are the days that really annoy me when everything doesn't go as planned. I genuinely have to have everything going as planned when I lift. If it don't, I just don't feel good. And I just can't explain it. If you know, everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be strategic. The form has to be perfect. The set has to be perfect. The intensity has to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect. I'm not the perfect human being. I can't be the perfect human being. The only perfect person that's ever walked on this earth is God, right? So I can't be perfect, but I will strive every single day to, become the best version of myself I could ever be. That's not close to being perfect, but in my eyes, in my own, mind, that is what being perfect is to me. Becoming the best version of myself I could ever be. Is the goal is to be perfect? No, the goal isn't to be perfect, but the goal is to become the best version of myself I could ever be, which will lead to me feeling like everything I am doing is perfect. In reality, everything that I am doing is not perfect. But what I can make perfect is these lifts. When I can make perfect is these sets, these reps, the intensity, my mindset, every single thing, that I love to do, everything I have passion for, I can make those things perfect. But will there be days where, everything doesn't go as planned? 100%. But that's not going to stop me from showing up every single day, giving it 100%. Today was one of those days where I genuinely just didn't, feel like lifting, but obviously, who cares? Training, this goes for any type of training. My mindset is where, all this type of training I am doing is not supposed to be something that you're supposed to be forced to do, a chore basically, right? This is something that I enjoy to do. Training should be fun. People make it seem like you need to be heartbroken in order to train hard. That's a big misconception, that you have to be heartbroken to train hard. Maybe I just love what I do. I don't care, about, all the other stuff that people talking about. I've never been heartbroken before. I've never been, broken up with in any type of relationship. I've never even been in a situation like that in my life. I'm just, I just have passion for what I do. I love what I do. And this could go for everybody. This could go for any type of sport that you're into, right? People could say, I'm going through war, I'm going through a mental battle, when they're just playing basketball, when they're just playing football, when they're just boxing, when they're just doing martial arts, when they're just doing, when they're just lifting weights. In my opinion, I feel like, you don't need to say things like that, because, there's people out there that are actually going through war. There's people out there that are actually having worse lives than you. There's people out there that have to wake up and carry barrels over their head, up hills, and, eat bread for dinner and shit. Like, people make lifting in different type of sports seem like hell, when in reality, you wake up and you enjoy that sport. Yes, it's, yes, you're getting, pushed to the absolute limit. Yes, your body is getting pushed to the absolute limit. Yes, you're going to do things where your mind is telling you, no, stop, but you just keep on doing it anyway. Honestly, that doesn't matter. That just comes and go when it comes to training. This comes to with any type of physical, sport, anything that's physical, that's going to happen. You're going to have times where your mind tells you to stop doing things that you don't feel like doing. It's going to be times where you're pushing past your limits, but that doesn't mean that you're going through a mental battle or a mental hell. Everybody has different things going on. So if you think training or any type of sport is going through hell, you absolutely need to reevaluate your mind and get more locked in, because there's worse things in this world than just training. There's people out there that's been to worse things, and I hope people know that. Anyways, the whole point of this video was to just explain how I just love, what I do, the passion for my training, and that you don't need to be heartbroken in order to train hard. And this goes for any type of sport or any type of lifting weights that, you're doing, bodybuilding, etc., whatever it may be. I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow, and we're gonna be back.